Welcome to the Friday Fix. Our virtue for this Friday is self-discipline or self-control. And I learned some awesome things today researching this. Uh, Early thoughts on this is that self-discipline has a lot to do with understanding who you are. That's how you can discipline yourself, by understanding who you are and seeing the things that happen to you as opportunities to learn, to develop, and to serve. So, just to support this or to show you why I'm thinking this way, I have 5 quotes from 5 different religions. First, 3 short quotes from Buddhism, Islam, and the Sikh faith. And then the first 7 verses of the biblical book of Proverbs. And then a slightly longer passage, which is a sort of interview where Abdu'l-Baha from the Baha'i faith was telling of his experience in prison and his idea of what freedom is for him. I hope you enjoy.
So here's this really very interesting definition of self-control or self-discipline from the Virtues Project website. Self-discipline is doing what you really want to do rather than being tossed around by your feelings like a leaf in the wind. You take charge of yourself. I thought that was really cool, and I also wanted to share some other writings from different religions on the topic of self-control or self-discipline. A few short ones first. Navi's channel water, Fletcher's fashion arrows, and carpenters work on wood, but the wise disciple themselves. Man's body, it is true, is formed of earth, but by discipline and contrition it may be made to reflect spiritual verities, even as coarse and hard iron may be polished into a steel mirror. You may torment your body with extremes of self-discipline, practice intensive meditation, and hang upside down, but your ego will not be eliminated from within. And then at the beginning of the book of Proverbs, those first 7 verses, I'll read them out for you. The Proverbs of Solomon, the son of David, king of Israel. To know wisdom and instruction, to comprehend the words of understanding, to receive the discipline of wisdom, justice, and right and equity, to give prudence to the simple, to the young man knowledge and discretion, that the wise man may hear and increase in learning, and the man of understanding may attain unto wise counsels, to understand a proverb and a figure, the words of the wise and their dark sayings. The fear of the Lord is the beginning of knowledge, but the foolish despise wisdom and discipline. And lastly, a section from Divine Philosophy. Abdu'l-Baha is speaking about his experience in prison and what freedom means to him. Abdu'l-Baha said, "Freedom is not a matter of place. It is a condition. I was thankful for the prison, and the lack of liberty was very pleasing to me, for those days were passed in the path of service under the utmost difficulties and trials, bearing fruits and results. Unless one accepts dire vicissitudes, he will not attain. To me, prison is freedom. Troubles rest me. Incarceration is an open court. Death is life, and to be despised is honor. Therefore, I was happy all that time in prison. When one is released from the prison of self, that is indeed freedom, for self is the greater prison. When this release takes place, one can never be imprisoned. They used to put my feet in stocks, so," and he put out his feet before him to illustrate, and laughed as though it were a joke he enjoyed. "I would say to the guard, 'You cannot imprison me, for here I have light and air and bread and water. There will come a time when my body will be in the ground, and I shall have neither light nor air nor food nor water, but even then I shall not be imprisoned.' The afflictions which come to humanity sometimes tend to center the consciousness upon the limitations. This is a veritable prison. Release comes by making of the will a door through which the confirmations of the Spirit come. The person who was interviewing Abdu'l-Baha says, "This sounded so like the old theology that the modern within me rebelled, doubting if the discipline really compensated for the effort." "What do you mean by the confirmations of the Spirit?" I asked. Abdu'l-Baha said, "The confirmations of the Spirit are all those powers and gifts with which some are born and which men sometimes call genius, but for which others have to strive with infinite pains. They come to that man or woman who accepts his life with radiant acquiescence." And the interviewer goes on to say, radiant acquiescence, that was the quality with which we were suddenly inspired as Abdu'l-Baha bade us goodbye. It was a remarkable experience, hearing one who had passed along the prison path for 40 years declare, "There is no prison save the prison of self." And it drove conviction to the heart as this white-robed messenger from the East pointed the way out, not by renunciation, but by radiant acquiescence, the shining pathway out of the greater prison of self.